All right, today we're diving into a spiritual message that makes a pretty huge claim that humanity right now is in the middle of a massive global shift, a great awakening that's totally unlike anything we've ever seen in our history. So let's break down what that really means.
The whole idea we're exploring today really hinges on this one question. It suggests that even with all the chaos you see out there in the world, something really fundamental is changing deep inside millions of people.
Okay, so here's the core idea, and it's a big one. Humanity is at a major turning point. In fact, get this, the message suggests that our entire galaxy is focused on what's happening right here, on Earth, as we all start to wake up from a very, very long sleep. Now, you probably remember all the hype around the year 2012, right? Well, according to this message, it wasn't about the world ending. Nope, it was the complete opposite. It was a starting line, a marker that we as a species successfully passed, steering us away from a path of total self-destruction. And this really gets to the heart of it. The transformation is seen as this collective journey, moving out of a long, dark period and into what it calls a golden age. It's this promise that, yeah, things might look messy right now, but underneath it all, a huge positive shift is already happening. But it's not as simple as just flipping a switch. To get to that light, the message says we have to understand the darkness first. It talks about the baggage of our past as boulders, all those heavy negative energies like anger and fear that have pretty much defined human history. And these patterns aren't anything new. The message is clear that these are deeply ingrained behaviors. We're talking habits that have been part of the human experience for millennia. We've all been carrying these boulders around for generations. So the message asks a really tough question. After all that time, what has it gotten us? The answer it gives is pretty blunt: nothing but war and misery. The whole point is that the old ways of doing things, they just aren't working. They never really have. So it's like we're standing at a crossroads. You can see the two paths laid out right here. We can keep hauling those boulders of anger and hate, or we can make a conscious choice to walk a different path. It really boils down to this. It's time to drop what hasn't worked and embrace what will. Okay, so if the problem is this huge collective thing, where does the solution come from? Is it some grand plan from on high? Nope. According to this message, the power to change everything, it's inside you. It's inside all of us. I love this metaphor. It's basically saying we hold the keys to heaven. They've always been there. It's not something you have to go out and find in the world. It's something you already have. We just need to remember they're in our pocket. And this is the spark. This is what kicks off that whole great awakening. The big takeaway here is that this massive global change doesn't start with governments or big institutions. It starts with you, with me. It starts the moment we decide to turn our focus inward and use those keys. All right, so that's the big idea. It sounds amazing, right? But how do we actually do it? What are the steps? Well, luckily this message doesn't just leave us hanging. It gives us a practical playbook for this inner work. The whole thing is framed as tending your own inner garden, which is a great way to look at it. Step one, you gotta pull the weeds, right? Consciously let go of the anger and hate. Then you water the good stuff daily with things like meditation. And finally, you watch your words. You hesitate before you speak, choosing words that build things up, not tear them down. Now, this next part really made me stop and think. It says, kindness is the most difficult thing to do in the universe. Isn't that wild? I mean, it's so easy to just react with anger. That's kind of our default setting, isn't it? But to consciously choose kindness, especially when it's hard, that takes real strength. It's a discipline. And it gives us more than just the garden idea. It's like a daily checklist for this inner work. It's about changing everything, really. Getting out in nature, actually trying to see things from someone else's point of view, taking care of your body. The whole idea is to be open to new ways of thinking, to make small changes every single day. And hey, don't forget to laugh along the way. So you might be wondering, okay, how does me working on my inner garden actually change the entire planet? How do all these little personal choices really add up to that big golden age we were talking about? Well, this is the payoff. This is the ultimate promise. The idea is that in 100 years, the world will be so different, so transformed by all this inner work, that we'll look back at today's world and barely even recognize it. Kind of mind-blowing, right? And after dropping that huge vision on us, the message just ends with this simple thought. Ponder this over.
It's not a command, it's just an invitation to sit with these ideas for a minute and see how they feel, how they fit into your own life.
So let's bring this all home. We've talked about galaxies and millennia, but it really all comes down to right here, right now, to you. The whole point is that massive change starts with tiny actions. The journey to a golden age, according to this, starts with a single step. So the question is, what will yours be?